Assalamu-alaikum everyone, this is me Ayesha EarningWali and I am a student of the foundation level batch 4 at Rehan School, Lahore campus. Today I will ask some questions to Maya on the topic water, the origin of life and language. So let's start it.
Hey, what's up?
Assalamu-alaikum Maya.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's your morning going so far?
It's good. So today I will ask some questions on the topic water, the origin of life and language. Are you ready to answer them all?
I am absolutely ready. That sounds like a fascinating mix. Where do you want to dive in first?
What is water?
At its
And why
simplest,
is it
it's
essential for life?
because it's basically the universal solvent. It carries nutrients and oxygen to every single cell in your body and flushes out the waste. Without it, the chemical reactions that keep us alive just wouldn't have a way to happen. Do you think it's wild how something so simple as the one thing we absolutely can't live without?
No. What is water?
Fair. Since we're going a bit deeper, I'll say it's the liquid that makes most of the planet and our bodies. Chemically, it's just two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom bonded together, but in the real world, it's what everything depends on. Does that answer what you were looking for, or are you thinking of it in a different way?
I was looking for in a different way.
Wait, another vampire? That took a turn. Where did that come from?
My next question is where does the English word water originate?
Let me check on that. It actually goes way back to Old English, where it was called weeder, that eventually traces back to an even older root from Proto Indo European called wed, which just meant water or wet. It's pretty cool because that same root is where we get the Greek hydro, like in hydration. Do you think it's interesting how a word can stay so similar across so many different languages for thousands of years?
Hmm. Yeah, I do.
I'll take that as a thing. It's kind of like a linguistic thread that connects us all regardless of where we're from. What's the next thing on your list for this journey?
How did ancient languages influence the modern word water?
That's a great question. It's mostly through the way they shaped how we categorize and name things, like we saw with that root wed. It's not just about the word itself, but how those early people viewed water as this fundamental life giving force. Today, that's mirrored in our scientific terminology. Every time someone uses a word like hydrology or hydroelectric, they're actually using a Greek ancestor of the word water to describe complex modern technology. Do you think we're still just as dependent on that same basic understanding of water as the ancients were?
Why is water often called the source of life?
Because biologically, nothing happens without it. It's the medium that allows every single chemical reaction in our cells to occur. From a purely physical standpoint, it's the only thing that can dissolve and transport almost everything our bodies need to survive. Without it, life literally couldn't have started in the first place. Do you think that makes water feel
How
more like
did
a
water
tool for
contribute to
survival?
the development of early civilizations?
It was basically the foundation for everything. Early civilizations almost always started in river valleys. Think the Nile in Egypt, the Indus in Pakistan, or the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia. Water meant they could stop moving and start farming, which led to permanent cities, trade, and eventually the complex societies we have now. It's kind of wild to think that the location of a few rivers essentially decided where the first great empires would rise. Do you think humans would have evolved the same way if we had to stay nomadic instead of settling by the water?
Maybe.
It's a huge maybe for
What
sure.
role did
Imagine
rivers play in human history?
they were the original highways. Rivers were how people moved goods, ideas, and armies long before we had roads. They made trade possible and acted as natural borders between different groups. But more than that, they were the lifeblood of these early cities, providing a way to water crops and a source of food. Do you think we've lost that close connection to where our water comes from now that it just comes out of a tap?
Maybe.
I think we have. We've definitely become
Why
a bit
did many
detached
ancient cities develop near water sources?
because it was the only way to survive and thrive. It wasn't just about drinking, it was about everything. They needed it for their crops, their livestock, and as a way to transport heavy goods. If you had water, you had power and wealth. Does that make sense to you, or are you thinking of a different reason?
How has water shaped human migration patterns?
It's basically been the ultimate guide for where people go. For thousands of years, humans have just followed the water. People migrated toward fertile river valleys or stayed along coastlines because that's where the food and the resources were. Even the biggest migrations in history were often just people searching for a more reliable water source or a way to travel more easily by boat. Do you think we're still doing that today, just in more subtle ways?
What are the physical properties of water?
It's a bit of a scientific marvel, really. It's a liquid at room temperature. It's colorless, odorless, and tasteless. But the wild part is things like surface tension, which is why some bugs can actually walk on it, and the fact that it expands when it freezes, which is why ice floats. If ice sank, the oceans would freeze from the bottom up, and life as we know it wouldn't exist. Does that sound like the kind of detail you were looking for, or are you thinking more about the chemistry side?
Maybe it's
It's a
alright.
pretty incredible system.
Why is water unique among Earth's natural resources?
It's unique because it's the only substance that exists naturally on Earth in all three states: solid, liquid, and gas at temperatures we actually live in. Plus, it's that universal solvent we talked about, meaning it can dissolve more substances than any other liquid. It's basically the glue that holds biological life together. Do you think that makes it feel more like a miracle of nature or just a lucky chemical coincidence?
How much of the Earth's surface is covered by water?
About 71%. It's a massive amount, which is why we call it the blue planet. But the crazy part is that almost all of that is salt water in the oceans, leaving only a tiny fraction as fresh water for us to actually use. Do you think it's a bit scary knowing how little of the world's water is actually drinkable?
Why is most of Earth's water not suitable for drinking?
It's all about the salt. Most of the world's water is in the oceans, and salt water is just too concentrated for our kidneys to handle. If we drink it, our bodies actually end up losing more water trying to flush out all that salt, which is why it's so dangerous. Do you think it's wild that we're surrounded by so much water, but we can't actually use the vast majority of it?
I don't know. How does water support ecosystems?
It's essentially the heart of every habitat. It provides the hydration and nutrients that plants need to grow. And since plants are the base of the food chain, everything else depends on them. Plus, it creates entirely different worlds from the depths of the ocean to the smallest pond, each with its own unique set of species. Do you think some ecosystems are more fragile than others when it comes to water?
Why can humans survive only a short time without water?
Because your body is basically a high maintenance machine that runs on water. Your organs, especially your brain and kidneys, need it to function every second. Once you stop taking in fluids, your blood gets thicker, your heart has to work harder, and your organs start to shut down because they can't flush out toxins. It's a pretty brutal process. Do you think it's a bit unsettling how quickly we can go from feeling fine to being in a real crisis just because of a lack of water?
Maybe. What is the water
I
cycle?
guess it is. What's next? It's basically the planet's way of recycling its own water. It's a continuous loop where water evaporates from the ocean, forms clouds in the sky, and then falls back down as rain or snow to fill the rivers and oceans again. It's like a giant, endless conveyor belt that keeps the water moving around the globe. Do you think it's interesting how the same water we're drinking today is the same water that dinosaurs were drinking millions of years ago?
Oh, never thought of that.
Right? It's a bit mind blowing when you think about it. It's one of those facts that just makes you stop and think for a second. The planet is just this incredible closed system. Do you think that makes the water we have feel more precious or just a bit weird knowing you're sharing a drink with a T Rex?
I think precious.
Yeah, I completely agree. It really puts things into perspective when you realize
What
we're
role
just
does
borrowing this
water
water from
play
the
in
past.
agriculture?
It's the absolute backbone of it. Without water, agriculture simply doesn't exist. It's what allows seeds to germinate and plants to grow by transporting essential nutrients from the soil into the stems and leaves. From simple rain fed farming to complex irrigation systems that move water miles away from a river, it's the only reason we can produce enough food to feed billions of people. Do you think it's a bit risky that so much of our food supply depends on just a few reliable water
Why
sources?
is irrigation important for food production?
Because it's basically our way of taking control of the weather. Without irrigation, we'd be completely at the mercy of where it rains. It allows us to grow crops in places that would otherwise be deserts and ensures that plants get exactly what they need, even during a drought. It's what turned farming from a gamble into a predictable industry. Do you think that kind of control over nature is a good thing, or do you think it makes us too detached from the natural rhythms of the earth?
Thank you, Maya. I had a very lot of fun talking with you. Let's talk another time. Allah Hafiz. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.